had a woman dying from COVID confess something really heart-wrenching to me. She told me that when she was a teenager, she told her mother that one of the local black boys had touched her behind the grocery store. And in 1936 Louisiana, this was a very big deal. Not only was this boy lynched, but he was beaten, and his genitals were cut off. And then the family home was burned to the ground. And she watched it all happen. You want to know why? Because she saw that his sisters had prettier dresses than she did, and she just didn't like it. So she lied. And then it clicked. This same woman had been hallucinating for the past couple of days, saying that there was a black boy in her room watching her, would not stop staring at her, and she was scared shitless. She asked if she could be forgiven. I told her the only person who could forgive her was the boy she killed. Not sorry.
So y'all, this ain't wrong, okay? I used to work in an assisted living facility at night. Well, I go in one night, and the staff before me is like, oh yeah, we got a new admit today. Her name is, we'll call her Jean. Her name is Jean. You'll love her. She's so sweet. I meet Jean. Jean is super sweet. 1 o'clock in the morning rolls around. Old sweet Jean's strolling up the hallway, and she goes, hey. I said, hey, Jean. She said, do you have a butcher knife? No, I don't. Well, what do you need it for? Well, that's what I killed my husband with. Oh. Okay. No, we don't have those here. She said, oh. What do you need it for if he's already dead, honey? I don't like my roommate. We don't do that here. No.
So I worked in a nursing home for 2 years. And a lot of my patients had dementia and Parkinson's, so they actually confessed a lot of things to me. Things that made me terrified of being around them if they were not frail and fragile and old. But one lady that was so sweet, so kind, absolutely loved her. I'm putting her to bed one night and she grabs my hand and she pulls me in. She goes, let me tell you something I've never told anyone. Let me tell you something that not many people know, but I trust you, so I'll tell you. I was a World War II spy, and I didn't know how to respond. I killed over 50, 60 men in about a week. There's a reason we were terrified when that woman found a knife a few months later.
Forgive the hair. I am not a nurse, nor do I pretend to be. However, I was speaking with an individual while scheduling his physical on the phone, and it got really personal really quickly. He was clearly stuck in quarantine, and he was tired of it. And he got a little emotional, and he spoke about his time overseas in the military as a paramedic, and all of the men that he helped fall asleep forever because he knew that they would not be able to make it to the helicopters or to the hospital tents, the MASH units. And he knew every one of their names and their ages and their families' names. And he carries it to this day with him. And I felt so awkward because I was like, okay, now we schedule your colonoscopy.
One second, I gotta close my door. I had a man, right, who admitted how often he cheated on his wife and how often he hit his wife. So I said, I'm like, it's okay to let some things die with you, right? I've had a woman who, she lived out in the country, and she was married 3 times. And each one of her husbands died. The first one was from like a stomach infection.
The second one had a hunting accident. And the third one had a car accident. And she admitted that she actually murdered all of them. We had another one where, and I actually saw it in your comments, but I've heard this, a woman's first husband was incredibly abusive. And she actually gave me this advice. She's like, if you ever marry an abusive man, honey, you need to get a horse. And you need to make sure that your husband learns to ride the horse. Because horses are great covers for head injuries. What else? I had a woman who said her best friend came to her and said, you know, my husband's abusive. And she's like, don't worry, we got it. And they shot him in the back of the head, dismembered him, and then threw his body parts into different parts of the Mississippi River. And sometimes that's just a normal Tuesday for us to hear this stuff.
Oh yeah, that is definitely a thing that absolutely nobody talks about enough in nursing. If you work in a skilled nursing facility, then you know, as well as I do, that there's a lot of little ladies whose husbands died of mysterious circumstances. If you work on a memory unit, I know for a fact you have at least one story where an old lady with dementia was talking about how she poisoned her husband. A lot of little ladies have killed their husbands in like the 60s and 70s and got away with it, and like they get dementia and then they confess to it all and they're just not with it and they have no idea. It happens actually a bit more frequently than I think a lot of people realize, and we all just kind of brush it off and we're like, that's nice, Joanne, it's time for pudding cups.